Today we're going to take a look at parameters in Fusion 360. This is a recreation of an older video that I've done, just updated a little bit. So what we're going to be looking at is designing this shelf. So we've got essentially four pieces. So we've got two sides, so a side there, and a back and a bottom. The whole thing, so it's 250 deep by 200 high by 600 long. I haven't put a thickness on here, but let's say that the thickness is going to be 17 millimeters, pretty standard size. So we've got some preset dimensions and parameters that we can use to make this little shelf. So first thing that I want to do on a project like this, where I may want to change things later, or maybe I want to mass produce this, is set up some parameters that can be easily edited. So let's bump over to Fusion 360. To set up parameters in a file before we even get rolling, we can use modify and then change parameters. And that's going to open up this window here, and that'll allow us to put the parameters into place. So the first parameter that we're going to do, so I'm going to hit plus, and let's do the width of this. So the overall width of our entire piece, we said was going to be 600 millimeters. So 600, and now I've got width millimeters, 600 millimeters. Okay. The second parameter that we would have is probably going to be the height. And the height that we had in our drawing was 200 millimeters. Got those two. The next one will be the depth. And our depth is 250 millimeters from the drawing. And then we'll add one more, and this is the material thickness. So we'll say thickness, and we'll go 17 millimeters. Now you could add others. I've got some fastener holes and things that I've put into here as well, but we'll just do those in the sketch today. So I've got these parameters, and what's going to happen is in spots where I want to do the width, instead of writing 600 millimeters, I just type the word width. For the height, instead of writing the word height, I just type in 200 millimeters. Depth, thickness, all the same. So I'm going to go OK there and come back into my workspace. So once in the workspace, I am going to start some new sketches. So I'm going to go sketch, and I'm going to pick a work plane, and I'm going to start off by drawing the side of my piece. So for the side, we had our depth. So I've got my line started. I'm going to type the word depth, and you'll see that it shows up in that drop down. I click on depth, I hit enter, and you can see that it's saying f of x 250. So what that is that fx is connecting it to that parameter. 250 is just what's held in that parameter block. So I grab another line, we'll go up. This one is our height. You can see height showing up there. I've got a little jog bit here. So essentially this would be our thickness. And then we'd have another line at the bottom coming up. Also our thickness. So I've only used parameters in drawing this basic shape. So the last one is going to be from the angled piece from end to end, and you can see how it just snapped in. I don't have a dimension on it because I don't need it. It's constrained by the rest of the dimensions. Things to look at here, you can see that all the lines are black as they come around, not blue. The black lines mean that this is a fully constrained sketch. So if I change a number, everything will change around that number. And even if now I jump back to parameters and I decide I want to change the height to 300, you'll see that that height just changed to 300 and it kept everything constrained and kept the lines black, but we've got a different size there. We're going to change that back to 200 just because a little more aesthetically pleasing. Just fill that up. And 200. And okay. And there we go. So back to the way it was. I'm going to finish the sketch. So there is the side drawing of my piece. So the next thing we want to do is extrude the sides. Now I'm just going to take a look back at my picture for a second. So I've got the sides sitting inside. I think for the case of this one, let's move the sides so they go all the way out. It might be a little more aesthetically pleasing. So we're going to leave it the way it is. So from here, I can use my extrude tool, and I want to extrude this thickness again. So I just start typing thickness. That gives me the option there. I click OK. So there is the side piece of my thing. Pretty cool. Now the next thing is my overall width of this was 600. So I'm going to use a construction plane, and I know we've used construction planes a few times in other videos, but again, construction plane. So I'm going to offset the plane from this side, so this is the outside, and I want to do this half of my width because I'm going to use it to mirror the sides over. So again, I can say width. So it went a bit funny there. Let's say negative width. I want it to go the other way. And I want to divide that by 2 because it needs to be in the center. I click OK, and now I've got this work plane sitting in the center of my piece. So from here, I'm going to go back to Create, and I've got a tool for Mirror. I click on Mirror. In my little dialog box here, I want to go to Bodies because I've just created a body. Mirror plane. I'll click on that mirror plane. We'll click on the body again and go OK. And now I've got the two sides. So pretty straightforward there. Because in the final production these are going to be components, not bodies, I'm just going to come in here, right click on body 1 and say create component from body. You can see it's there. And right click on body 2 and create component from body. So there, I've got my sides in place. The next thing that I want to do is create that piece that's going to be at the bottom. So let's start a new sketch, just looking at the bottom of our piece. I'm going to rotate it around. So there's our bottom. Now this is all fully constrained. So if I just make a rectangle between those points, it's just going to take the dimensions that we've already got. I don't need to add dimensions in there. So like so. That looks pretty good. Now with this, we need a couple teeth in here for this to hold into place. So I'm just going to come down and draw a tooth into place. So this would be thickness. And then our other one, I could do another parameter for this tooth, which is actually a good idea. So I'm just going to go escape here, modify, change a parameter, because we want quite a few teeth in this. So let's say tooth width. And let's set the tooth width at, let's go 50 millimeters for now. I go OK, and I've got that new parameter. Now I can jump back in, and I want this to be thickness, like so. I hit the tab key to go to the other box, and I want this to be tooth width. I hit enter. Now that went the wrong way, so I'm just going to come in here, say negative and see if that bumps at the other side. Apparently not. Let's just go undo again on that. Alright, so I'm going to come in here. We're going to start with thickness, tab, tooth width. I just had my mouse on the wrong side. Hit enter, and there's the tooth that's in place. So let's go create a sketch dimension, and we'll dimension this one from the edge. And let's say we can do a little more math here. So tooth width divided by 2, or sorry, let's go not divided by 2. Let's go times 2, and that's roughly centering it. I could center it out, but that should be enough for now. So a couple things here. I could project this onto the other side, or I could redraw it. I think what we'll do is project it. So I'm just going to go project include, project, grab that center plane. That way if I change this plane later on, it'll stay centered. Then under create, I've got a mirror command. I want to mirror that on that line, and I go okay. So now I've got a tooth on both sides. I can finish the sketch. You can see it at the bottom there. And we can go to extrude. I want that. I want that. I want that tooth there. I want that tooth there. And I want this to go thickness. Oop, that's not thickness. That was depth. Thickness. Now it's going the wrong way, so I might need to go negative thickness to push it up. So now we can see that it's going into place. Problem that I see how it's turned red? That means that it's cutting. I want to turn this just to a new component again like we did the others. And now you can see the bottom of that shelf being put into place. So like so, I should be able to go okay. And now I've got the shelf. One issue that we've got here is that if I turn off that new component, there's no hole for that tooth. So I've got another tool called Combine. So I'm going to click here on Combine. And I'm going to use this to cut away at this piece here. So the target body is the thing I want to cut. I'm going to click on that. My tool body is the thing that I'm going to cut. And I want to cut as my operation. And I want to keep this. I don't want to lose it. So I'm going to go keep tool. And OK. And now you'll see when I turn that off, there's a cut in place. Do the same thing to the other side. Target body, tool body. Your presets will stay in place. And we go OK. So now, at the bottom, we've got those two cuts in place. So now we'll take a look at the back. So I'm going to go create sketch on the back of this. And we're going to do the same procedure. I'm going to use a rectangle from there down to there. It doesn't want to snap. So if it doesn't snap, I'm going to go create, project include, project. And I'm just going to grab some geometry. So now I've got that point there. And we'll try that again. So we're going to go from here down to there. Looks good. And then we're going to come in, make our rectangle again, which is going to be tooth width by thickness. Go enter, so we've got that. And like before, we're going to go D for dimension from here to here. And we'll set that at, again, tooth width times 2. A little lower, but I think that's okay. We could change this and center it up if we wanted. So let's say instead of times 2, let's go times 1.5. So it's still giving us derived dimension. This will move though if the size changes. I'm not too concerned about that. So we want that on the other side. So I'm going to go to create, project include project again, grab that line. So now I've got that plane line again. We can go to create, mirror, grab that geometry, select my mirror line, and there it is on the other side. Now with this one I'm going to add, let's add another tooth here and another one there. So I can come in again, same thing, this coming down, we'll go tooth width again, and tab, thickness, and we'll go D for dimension. We'll just go from side to side, and let's say again tooth width divided by 2. Oop, not divided by, we want times by. So we've got that there, and again we can go create, mirror, grab that geometry, and mirror it over that way. So that's placing them into place. So from that, we can go finish sketch again, use our extrude tool, grab the objects that we want, like so. We want to extrude this in, so I'm going to use negative thickness again, and we want to create a new component, like so. So that's all going in now. We go OK, so there's our back. Like before, it hasn't cut the pieces out, so here I'm going to use combine, target body, tool body, and OK, combine, target body, tool body, OK, combine, target body, tool body, OK. And that's going to give us our basic shelf with all of its components. So say if we were to cut this out now, you can see where all the different pieces are going to fit together. We want to mount this to a wall, so I'm going to come in here, and let's do points. So I'm going to put a few points in, like so. And we're going to dimension those, so sketch dimension. This one, let's project that center line again. So project include project. Alright, so now we can go create, sketch dimension from here to here. We'll use width on this one, so width divided by 2.5. Okay, width, sorry, capital, 2.5. So that's going to set that up. And if we go, I'm just hitting the D key for dimension. So if I dimension from here to here, let's go height, divided by 3. So that's giving us a nice spot for a screw hole there. And then we've got a couple other constraints. I've got horizontal, vertical. So I'm going to click on that. I want this vertical to that, so that's constrained that into place. I want this horizontal to that, so that's linked into place. I want this one linked to that one, so now that's all linked into place. So vertical, horizontal, that's going to line them up. Escape there. Still though, you can see that this is moving up and down. So I can go D for dimension again, or I could go grab it from there. And let's dimension from here to the bottom. Let's grab that again. And I want it to be the same as I did here. I'm just going to click on that, hit enter, and that took the dimension from here, applied it to there. And we're going to go D for dimension on this. Oops, that's the wrong spot. D for dimension from here to here. There we go. I want that dimension, so I click on it, enter. The horizontal vertical will just fix in there, so there's my constraint again. And now everything's fully constrained. Finish sketch, I can take those 4 spots, create a hole. That's a bit big. Click on my selections, and we'll just do probably a 4 mil hole, something we can get a screw through. So we're looking here, we've got our depth. Well, depth should be thickness. Our diameter of our hole, let's make that 4. There's our holes. Go OK, and now you can see we've got those nice screw holes. Now remember, we can always right click and edit a feature again. It's like, okay, cool, I got those holes, but I actually want them to be countersunk. So I can do a countersink there. Maybe we're going to make the top of this 6 and go OK. And now when I look at the holes, there should be a bit of a taper there for the screw to sit in. And you can play with that all you want. But essentially, that's it for the first phase of this project. I'm going to stop the video there, and we'll have a part 2.